Everyone tells you, save your money and one day you'll be rich. But what if I told you, saving money is the exact reason most people stay poor forever? Not because they don't work hard. Not because they're lazy. But because they were taught the wrong rule. This story begins with a man named Daniel. Daniel did everything right. Daniel grew up in a middle-class family. His father always said, "Son, don't waste money. Save every penny." So Daniel followed that rule like a religion. He got a job at 22. Salary, $1,200 a month. He avoided eating outside. He wore the same shoes for 3 years. He saved $300 every month. By 30, Daniel had saved $28,000. People called him smart. Friends said, "Bro, you're disciplined." His parents were proud. But inside, Daniel felt strange. He was tired, still broke, still afraid of emergencies, still living paycheck to paycheck, emotionally. Because every month, no matter how much he saved, life became more expensive. Rent went up, food went up, fuel went up. His savings grew, but his freedom didn't. And then one day, Daniel opened his bank app and realized something terrifying. His money was losing value, without him touching it. The silent thief called inflation. No one ever taught Daniel about inflation. When he saved $1,000, next year it could only buy what $900 bought before. So his hard work, his sacrifices, his discipline, were being eaten silently, not by spending, but by time. Saving money felt safe, but safety was becoming a cage. He wasn't building wealth, he was just slowing down poverty. Then Daniel met someone who changed everything. His name was Mark. Mark drove an old car, wore simple clothes, but had zero fear about money. Daniel asked him, "How much do you save every month?" Mark smiled and said, "I don't save, I invest." That sentence made Daniel uncomfortable. Because Daniel had been told his whole life, saving equals smart, spending equals stupid, risk equals danger. But Mark said something shocking. Saving keeps you alive, investing makes you rich. The truth Daniel never heard. Mark explained, saving money is defensive. It protects you from disaster. But it never creates growth. Your job pays you once. Your savings sit still. But investments, they work while you sleep. Daniel suddenly understood. He had been playing not to lose, instead of playing to win. He was collecting money, but never planting it, like storing seeds in a cupboard, instead of putting them in soil. And then Mark asked Daniel a question that hit him like a punch. If saving makes people rich, why are most savers still poor? Daniel had no answer, because deep down, he knew the truth. His savings had limits, but wealth had no ceiling. That night, Daniel went home and looked at his savings account. $28,000. It looked big, but felt small, because now he saw it clearly. Saving had kept him safe, but it had never made him free. And for the first time in his life, Daniel asked himself, what if everything I was taught about money was incomplete? Daniel had saved for 8 years. $28,000 in the bank. Safe, but stuck. Mark had told him, saving keeps you alive, investing makes you rich. That sentence wouldn't leave Daniel's mind. So Daniel decided to do something he had never done before. He decided to risk his savings. Daniel's first investment. Daniel searched online, how to invest money. YouTube showed him luxury cars. Instagram showed him screenshots of profits. Everyone said, easy money, fast money, no risk. So Daniel did what most beginners do. He invested in something he didn't understand. A friend said, put money here, bro. You'll double it. Daniel put $10,000. At first, the numbers went up. $10,300. $10,800. $11,400. Daniel felt smart for the first time in his life. He told himself, I should have done this earlier. Then one morning, he opened his phone, and the number was red. The crash, $11,400 became $9,700. Then, $8,900. Then, $7,300. Daniel panicked. His heart beat fast. His hands shook. This was not like saving. Saving never went down. He called Mark and shouted, you said investing makes you rich. Mark replied calmly, I said investing, not gambling. Daniel sold everything in fear. Loss. $2,700. Months of savings. Gone in days. That night, Daniel couldn't sleep. He thought, my father was right. Saving is safer. He almost quit investing forever. But then Mark said something that changed everything. You didn't lose money. You paid for a lesson. The difference between savers and builders. Mark explained. Poor people save and protect. Rich people build and grow. Daniel had tried to get rich fast. But wealth is slow. Mark showed him charts. Real businesses. Long-term investments. He said, you can lose money once. But inflation makes you lose money forever. Saving had felt safe, but it was quietly shrinking. Daniel realized, his mistake was not investing. His mistake was not learning. Then Mark asked him, what will you choose, fear or skill? Daniel knew the answer. Daniel starts over the right way. This time, Daniel didn't rush. He learned how money grows, what assets are, why time matters, why patience beats luck. He invested small, $200, then $300, then $500. No screenshots, no flexing, no dreams of Lamborghinis, just consistency. Slowly, his money stopped sleeping. It started working. 6 months later, Daniel checked his account again. It wasn't huge, but for the first time, his money had grown without him working more hours. And that's when he understood. Saving keeps you safe, but only ownership makes you wealthy. And Daniel was finally becoming an owner. Daniel had learned the hard way. Saving keeps you safe. Investing makes you grow. He stopped gambling. He started learning. He started investing slowly. His money was finally moving. But then he discovered something worse than fear. Comfort. Life started feeling easy. Daniel's investments were not huge. But they were steady. A little extra money each month. Not enough to quit his job. But enough to breathe. So he relaxed. He stopped learning. He stopped pushing. He stopped taking smart risks. He told himself, at least I'm better than before. And that thought was dangerous. One evening, Mark asked him, are you building wealth, or just upgrading your lifestyle? Daniel didn't like that question. The lifestyle upgrade illusion. Daniel moved to a better apartment. Bought a nicer phone. A bigger TV. His income went up, but so did his spending. His investments stayed the same size. But his comfort grew. Mark warned him, most people don't fail because they are stupid. They fail because they get comfortable. Daniel realized, he had escaped survival, but not the system. He was still trading time for money. Just in a nicer cage. Then something happened that exposed the truth. Daniel's company announced layoffs. The fear came back. Emails, meetings, whispers. Daniel looked at his bank app again. Savings. Small. Investments. Still young. He felt the old fear return. All his comfort was fragile. Mark said, now you see the problem. You don't own enough. Daniel finally understood. True wealth is not money in the bank. It's income that doesn't depend on your job. Then Mark gave him the hardest advice yet. If you want freedom, you must build something, not just save something. Daniel builds an asset. Daniel started small. A side business, a digital product, an online service. At first, no profit. Then, small profit. Then, consistent profit. It was scary, but different. This time, his effort created something that could grow. Not just a balance, but a machine. 1 year later, Daniel's job income equals same. Daniel's asset income equals growing. For the first time, he could imagine a life where work was optional. And that scared him more than poverty ever did. Because now he had a choice. And most people never reach that point.